Hustle isn't wrong, it's just incomplete. Hustle built your business, yet it won't give you freedom. Working with business owners and leaders, what I notice is that there are two distinct ways that you can run your business. And fundamentally, the way I see often is people run their business from the hustle, and it's based on anxiety, it's based on fear, and it's based on control. And the shift I'm seeing globally, the opportunity is to move into the place of flow, the place of trust. And let me tell you a little bit more about that. So as a leader, you think about when you started your career or started your business, often there's a level of anxiety as to whether this is going to succeed. And out of that anxiety, we start to strive, we start to hustle, we start to work the angles, we start to manipulate. And again, fundamentally not good or bad, just know it's coming from fear. And when we come from fear, our nervous system, our physical body is different. What it means is that at some level, we perceive a threat and we want to push harder. We want to hustle more because the messages we're giving our nervous system, the messages we're giving our body is that we've got to fight, flight or freeze. And often that fight, that push is where the hustle comes from. And as this builds, fundamentally, what's driving it is what's called the old paradigm of business. And the old paradigm of business is essentially coming from a place of power and control. The drama triangle, the victim, persecutor, rescuer, is when I feel at effect of what's happening to me. And so to have control over the external world, to have power over other people, power over my finances, I'm going to come from this place of hustle and fear. And again, at some level it works. In fact, I work with a lot of elite leaders who've been driven by this fear, driven by this hustle. They've achieved a level of success, yet they haven't found freedom, they haven't found happiness. Because you can have the same energy, the same passion, and the same focus, yet instead of coming from that fear of not good enough, that drives the hustle, you come from a place of trust. You come from a place of trusting it's all going to be okay. And when you trust it's all okay, you connect with a deeper part of yourself. And instead of connecting with the part of yourself that says, I'm not good enough, you connect with the part of yourself that says, I'm lovable and valuable just as I am. I'm okay. And when you shift that fundamental operating system, that deeper connection with yourself to valuing yourself, your self-worth, loving yourself truly, then you move into the world with strategy, with tactics, but coming from a place of flow instead of coming from a place of hustle. Instead of resisting, judging, blaming, manipulating, you allow, you accept, you have much wider choice. And when you give your nervous system that message, it relaxes. It can trust, it can settle. And when it settles, you start to realize that your decision making becomes much, much bigger. You see all the options that are there. Your energy is more replenished than depleted. What's occurring globally is as more and more the external world becomes uncertain, becomes troubling, a lot of people without awareness are going back into the hustle, fighting harder, pushing harder, more fear, more control, and they're burning out. Something will give their relationships, their mental health. Whereas the new paradigm of business, what I'm seeing globally is that people with awareness are realizing the external world may get busy, uncertain, volatile, yet how I meet it is the key. What's my mindset? What's my heart set? What's my intuition? How present am I? How grounded am I? And that's the practice. If you're willing to do the practices, the simple practices to regulate yourself, get present, love yourself, value yourself, you will build a new paradigm business. You will be a new paradigm leader. And that's what's emerging in the world. That's the invitation. You can bring all of your skills, all of your talents, yet experience them from a very different place. And in my experience, you'll create a more impactful business, you'll create more abundance and wealth, you'll create a much more loyal and committed team, a culture that's dynamic and connected, and you will essentially be successful and free. That's my invitation. Often I'm asked by clients, it's great in theory, Bodhi, but how do I apply this? And there's some very simple steps, some conceptual ideas, and then some tools to apply. So the foundational concepts, if you want to shift from an old paradigm business to a new paradigm business, if you want to shift from fear to trust, the first concept to embody is that I give meaning to the world. Remember, the external world inherently is meaningless. Think about it. You're driving to work one day, you're racing along, someone cuts you off in the traffic. What do? You get angry, you get frustrated. 2 days later, you're driving to work, you're calm, you're relaxed, someone cuts you off in the traffic, and you're like, that's okay, they're in a hurry. Exactly the same external experience, totally different internal experience. That's the key. When you realize that we're meaning-making machines and that you have choice in each moment over the meaning you give things, you become very empowered. Because so much of the meaning we're giving things is from our subconscious mind. And the subconscious programming, remember 90% of our operating system is our subconscious and unconscious mind. It comes from fear, it comes from hustle. We go into the old paradigm, the victim, the persecutor, the rescuer. We're at effect, we blame, we judge. It's just the programming. It's not good or bad. When you become aware of that and become aware that you get to choose, everything changes. And again, it's one step at a time. Some of this is simple, it's not always easy. Because when you realize you have choice, you can come over to the new paradigm. And the new paradigm fundamentally says, instead of being the victim in my life, I'm the author of my life. I get to create my life. I get to create the whole of my own reality. And I create it through my thoughts, through my words, through my feelings, and through my behavior. And everything is frequency and vibration. Every thought puts out a frequency and vibration. Every feeling is an energy in motion. Every action you take impacts your relationships. And so if you have awareness that how I show up impacts the creation of my life, and I am the author of my life, you start to regulate your nervous system. You start to get more centered and grounded. You start to come from a place of trust and love. You start to realize that all of this is an opportunity to grow and learn. And just that simple shift, the concept and the application, will give you so much more freedom. Because most people don't realize they have choice. And life is about choice. And the opportunity for you is to go, am I willing to take responsibility for the choices I make and how I show up?